we can do it over Zoom or have some other format where we can have like a real conversation about this. Text obviously is a inferior medium. I am really happy to talk about it though. Are we going to change the immediate action of someone false reporting you? What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means, but maybe you can share more details there. Noosh, so I think Patrick is here. He'll follow up with you, but we can set up a Zoom call with the folks who have real concerns. We can talk about them instead of talking about them over text, which again is a poor format and sometimes can feel really aggressive. Let's see. In general, though, I guess what I'll share about the maybe I can share why I am excited about bringing NFTs and blockchain to Highrise. And the reason why I'm excited about it, and you know, I've heard some people say, oh, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Look, if it was all about the money, we would price these NFTs much, much higher. We are pricing it literally at the bottom of the market. These are the lowest prices of basically any project that has any traction at all. And the reason why we're pricing it so low is because we want the people who end up purchasing these NFTs to make a profit. That's a goal. So, and the question is like, what is the point of NFTs? So what NFTs enable us to do, and what enable you to do, is connect to the broader economy. So if you own an NFT, it's now yours. You can do whatever you want with it. If you log into another application, let's say like OpenSea, which is basically the eBay of NFTs, or you log into Token Trove, which is another eBay of NFTs that supports the blockchain that we're using, Immutable X. You can buy, sell, trade, borrow your NFTs. It's essentially, the way to think about it is it's like kind of this invention, the blockchain technology, is property rights on the internet. So before, you didn't really have property rights on the internet. That didn't exist. And what I mean by property rights is if you're at home and you have, let's say you own some object, like you own a book, or I don't know, or you own a piece of gold. For someone to be able to take that away from you, they would have to come to your house and fight you. And we have laws in most of the countries that people who use Highrise live in where your property rights are secured. They can't come in and take your book or take your piece of gold or whatever it might be. Before blockchain, that didn't exist on the internet. You only had property rights to the extent that a company or some organization that hosted a database told you that you have property rights. So in the case of Highrise, you have a Highrise item only because Highrise says you have an item, right? In theory, we would never do this, but in theory, we could come in and delete that item from your database. And there's not a lot of recourse that you could have. Now, we would never do this, just to be clear. We would definitely never do this. But that's the whole idea. There's no such thing as kind of owning a piece of property on the internet. You only own it to the extent that someone is kind of like hosting some centralized database that says that you do. Now, what blockchain does is it's a decentralized database, meaning nobody owns that database. It's owned by basically the world. And it guarantees that you own the thing that you own. And this is really powerful because now that you own this thing, like you own the item separate to Highrise, you own this item, you can take it with you. You can take it with you wherever you want, and you can use it on other applications besides Highrise. And the main applications that you would use it in today would be marketplaces. So you would go to some marketplace and go and sell your NFT or buy another NFT or rent it out if somebody wants to borrow it because you own that property. Highrise doesn't own that property. You own that property. And that's why I'm really excited about it, because I think it's a big revolution. I think it gives a lot more power to the people who own the content than, honestly, to platforms like us. And I know that's like counter to our own interests as a company, but I believe in that future. I think that's a really important, compelling, powerful feature. And that's why we're pushing in that direction. It's definitely not because we're trying to make a bunch of money off these NFTs, but rather I actually think that our platform can just be much bigger and much more powerful. Not the platform, but not so much powerful, but more, I guess, accessible and broader when we give so much more value and power to the community and the users as opposed to us. So that's kind of why we're doing it. That's why we're pricing the NFTs relatively low to what would be expected of us, given how much demand there is. And it's because we're trying to give the value to the community, honestly. So, sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox and start answering some questions. What's the plan after the NFT stuff? What are we tackling? So I'll share some of that. One is, and it's not just after, we're concurrently working on this. One thing that we're working on is a marketplace. I think I shared about this last week, but we're almost done with it. We're going to release a marketplace where you can buy, sell, and trade within High-Rise using gold. So a lot of people have been asking for adding prices to storefronts, or for a long time people have been adding for marketplaces. Well, we're finally doing it. That's one thing we're doing. We're adding some smaller features, like you can invite people to your room through the messenger. You can long press on an emote to loop it for any emote, so it makes any emote a dance or a loopable emote. We are adding an announcements feature so that when we